So we add back fish and wine and oil. That's a feast during the fast. We don't make it up. We enjoy what has been given to us because we really, 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 really believe that when God handed the church to his original apostles, he didn't give them a sketch. He gave them all. For example, languages. How did Andrew get all the way to Ukraine and know the language? How did Matthew and Mark get to Africa and know how to speak the language? They knew. The whole church is called the church militant and the church triumphant. The church triumphant is those who have triumphed. The church militant is those of us still down here in the army, warriors, prayer warriors. That's our job. We don't so much believe in death. We believe in separation and that we will be reunited. He said, I came here because I love you. I will show you how to get home. And he did. And so if we do that, we will get home. And we keep it that simple. And we don't ask a lot of questions about how, why, when. That's not our business. We're servants. We are servants of God. And we should act like servants, submitted and obedient. It's helpful to be submitted and obedient. Orthodoxy in general is not a religion. Religion per se is man's attempt to understand God, figure it out, think it through. It doesn't seem possible. Orthodoxy is considered to be not a religion but a relationship between God and his creation. And it has no bounds. There are no walls. There's no one who isn't easily within, because it's a relationship, and loving him is the key. And doing what he said. Do it. One person is in our congregation because as a student in a Bible college, he came with his class to see what the old-fashioned people do. And a lot of colleges send their religion classes to us to see what the old-fashioned people did. And he kept nudging his professor saying, well, they're doing all these things that we were reading about. He goes, yeah, I know. He said, but they're doing it. Those clothes they're wearing, those are from the Old Testament. Those prayers they're saying, well, that's right out of the New Testament. They're just repeating them. Look, all of these, they just keep singing these psalms of David, and they're chanting. Why aren't we doing this? It says in the Bible to do this. And so he stayed, and he brought his family, because he wanted to do it. And that's why I'm there. I've always been a Christian. I didn't convert to anything. If I would say I converted to Orthodoxy, there would be some meaning there of denying the first 40 years of my life, and I was a Christian. I have been a Christian all my life. And I'll never deny Christ. I'm just learning. And this is where he planted me, and so this is where I hope to grow. And wherever he plants us, that's where we should grow. Two lies of the devil that are very, very helpful during Lent. One is, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm practically a saint. The other one is, I am so miserable, so wretched, there is nothing that can ever save me. Both of which are purely egotistical. God is God. He's omnipotent. This business of the church canonizing it and making saints is kind of a joke to us. God sanctifies whom he will. And in this tiny, tiny percentage of those whom he sanctifies, he also allows us to know that he has done so. And it's a wonderful thing. And a very, very small percentage. He sanctifies whom he will. And there is no one, not Satan himself, that is not redeemable with humility. And pride is the opposite of that, and that is Satan's chief division, was his pride. He was very angry that God made worms like us and set us above him so as an angel. So he kind of got in trouble for that. I think that I should stop and ask if there are any questions, but I would love to read you this one tiny thing written by a dear fellow named Blaise Pascal. Blaise is the name of a wonderful, actually several, but one in particular, wonderful, wonderful early martyr. And Pascal just means of Pascha, of what is called Easter. But he's a brilliant fellow, and here's what he says about God. Openly appearing to those who look for him with all their heart, God governs human knowledge of his presence. He gives signs that are visible to those who search for him, and yet invisible to those who are indifferent to him. To those who wish to see, God gives sufficient light. To those who do not wish to see, God gives sufficient darkness. He does not compel. How dare we compel each other? Free will is free will. If God accepts free will as correct, we must not interfere with each other's free will. When my sons decided that they wanted to do things, each one, that were self-destructive, I knew that my job was to say, I love you, I disagree with you, you're an adult, you have free will, here's what I see as really, really serious, terrible consequences for the decision that you're making. I'll pray for you from here. Because that's what we're supposed to do. Honor each other's free will. God will lead them to himself, and he has. God is the only one who can inspire, save, well, redeem. I mean, we need to save each other all the time. If I fall out of the boat, please, save me. He is our Redeemer, and he will bring people to himself according to their ability to get there. And so I don't have to convince anybody to follow God. He's always calling them. And my voice is kind of puny and usually wrong, but the church is his body. The church is perfect. The people who run it are people, and by virtue of being people are frequently wrong, like all of us. But the church is perfect. And I really, really need to be within that body, because that's what holds together all the strands of my life, holds them together beautifully, handcrafted by God.